Today is day 8 of us keeping our layer birds in here. And we were supposed to vaccinate our birds yesterday on day 7. But unfortunately, we didn't for some reasons. I ordered the vaccines on day 6 with the intention of vaccinating them on day 7. But unfortunately, the vaccines arrived when they were warm. So there were chances of the vaccines being inactive. So I said that these vaccines, I'm going to throw them away. I'm going to get new vaccines for the birds. You know, the moment you give vaccines which are inactive to the birds, then definitely you have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know, these vaccines, most of these vaccines that we actually give to our birds, if they are not handled well, you would get a disease at the end of the day. You know, it actually starts from the storage where you buy them from. If these guys who are selling it to you don't have good fridges, don't have full power, like 24/7 power supplying these vaccines, the vaccines are going to spoil. And if they spoil, these people selling it are not going to throw them away. They are not. But rather, they will sell those spoiled vaccines to us, the farmers. That's why at the end of the day, after you vaccinate your birds, you do everything right, you are still hit by a disease. That's because sometimes the vaccine that we get have actually been spoiled even before we bring them to our farm. So you must be very, very careful when bringing vaccines to your farm. And if the vaccines are given like in a good form from the shop, transporting these vaccines alone is also a matter. You know, make sure that the transportation be as fast as possible, because these vaccines are actually put in ice cubes and then the vaccines are put inside. So the moment you are given the vaccines from the shop, rush to the farm and then give it to your birds immediately. And then if you cannot give them on that same day, make sure that you put them in a refrigerator, or in a fridge rather. If you don't have one, you can take it to the shops, give them some money for them to keep your vaccine cool. If you don't do that, yeah, even if you vaccinate your birds, you will actually be wasting your time, to be honest. So let me take you guys so that I can show you how our birds are doing after us vaccinating them. We vaccinated them against Newcastle disease stroke IB. So it is actually a combination of two vaccines in one. So let's first go. By the way, these are the feeds that are remaining. You know, these feeds are supposed to take us for 3 weeks. And then this is our record book. You must make sure that you do have a record book on your poultry farm. And if you don't have it, then you won't be doing anything, because you must actually write down everything which happens on the farm, like everything. Even if you vaccinate your birds today, it must be written down that you vaccinated the birds. If you give them feeds in a certain amount, you record it. So let's first try to enter back. Guys, look at our beautiful girls. First try to close here. They like going outside a lot from this path. Guys, look at how the birds are really growing. It's day 8, but you can't believe. Look at this. Look at this. I think, let me use this opportunity of this bird here. That's why we normally say that when you're constructing a poultry house, make sure that you do cement your floor. You know, do cement it. You can use maram to actually stack it together and then use it for the floor, but that is not a good idea, because you can see that these birds at day 8, they are now digging up the litter, and then the only way they can stop is when they find a hard surface down, which is the concrete which we have put. So if you don't have the concrete, they will actually find it easy to sunbathe in the litter, eventually go to the sand, and that's not good. So you can see the water. Make sure that you have clean water 24/7, clean water. So let me first try to show you guys. This drum over here is actually with no fire. Yeah, let me first try to show you the temperature here. The temperature is 29.8. Much as we have opened the curtains, it is at 29. Now, what if now we put this drum here on fire? It will go even beyond 33, which is over, because for now we should be on 30, 31, 32 maximum. That's why I've actually raised these tarpaulins over here so that fresh air can come in and then help our birds too. Much as during brooding stage, we do want to retain the heat in the house. Remember that when these charcoal burn, they produce toxic gas. And then if the house is just tight all over, then it will be a little bit hard for the toxic gas to go out. And then it also helps these birds to breathe well, you know, for the good oxygen to come in and then for the bad one to go out as well. You can take a look at the birds. Really, really growing fast, you know. The birds are really, really growing very, very fast. You can take a look that even the tail feathers have started to grow. I think in 3 4 days. Let's try to zoom in. Look, they have started to grow. So this is actually a nice thing, which we love it, you know. We do love it. Oh, I've scared them. The birds are really looking good, guys. So, like I was saying, vaccines should be handled very well, you know, very well. There are two ways of giving this vaccine which I've given today. You can either put it in the drinking water, or you can just put a drop of the vaccine in every eye of the bird. So that is what I did, much as other people prefer to use the drinking water, whereby you put the vaccines in the water. I didn't do that. And then there are certain reasons why I didn't do that. First is that in the drinking water, in some cases, these birds cannot have access to the water in a stipulated time, because these vaccines should be given if the weather is very hot, then within 30 minutes, the vaccine should be given to all the birds. And then if the weather is like cold, then it can take up to an hour for you to give the bird. So beyond that, the vaccine would have died, you know, the vaccine would have been spoiled, of course. So what I do is that I make sure that I use the drop method, whereby I give it to all the birds, you know. That way we are safe, you know, that there is no issue that I don't think that this bird has not taken the vaccine or no. That's number one. And then number two is that, guys, when you are vaccinating your birds, the moment you finish vaccinating your birds, make sure that you don't give antibiotics to these birds for at least 7 days. Why? Because the moment you vaccinate these birds, you have introduced an immunity into their body. So by you introducing the antibiotics to these birds immediately after vaccinating them, the two, which is the vaccine and then the antibiotics, will fight in the body of these birds. And if that happens, eventually the vaccines will be killed. And if they are killed, they won't be active in the body of these birds anymore. So make sure that you don't do that. That way, if a disease comes, at least we are, even if not 100%, but at least we are somehow sure that our birds will be safe at one point or the other. So obviously that is that on the farm. See you in my next video. Bye bye.